Hey, how's everybody doing? My name is Lex Coupe and I am back, and I wanted to do something a little different for you today. I wanted to read you guys a story that was sent to me that touched me, and I wanted you guys to be involved in the similar experience, hopefully that I've received from this. The title of this story is called "Too Busy for a Friend." One day, a teacher asked her students to list out the names of the other students in the room on 2 sheets of paper. Leave a space between each name. Then she told them to think of the nicest thing they could say about each of their classmates and write it down. It took the remainder of the class period to finish their assignment, and as the students left the room, each one handed in their papers. That Saturday, the teacher wrote down the name of each student on a separate sheet of paper and listed out what everyone else had said about that individual. On Monday, she gave each student his or her list. Before long, the entire classroom smiled. "Really?" she heard whispered. "I never knew I meant anything to anyone. And I didn't know others liked me so much," were most of the comments. No one ever mentioned those papers in class again. She never knew if they discussed them after class or with their parents, but it didn't matter. The exercise had accomplished its purpose. The students were happy with themselves and one another. That group of students moved on. Several years later, one of the students was killed in Vietnam, and his teacher attended the funeral of the special student. She had never seen a serviceman in a military coffin before. He looked so handsome and mature. The church was packed with his friends. One by one, those who loved him took a last walk by the coffin. The teacher was the last one to view his coffin. As she stood there, one of the soldiers who acted as pallbearer came up to her. "Were you Mark's math teacher?" he asked. She nodded yes. Then he said, "Mark talked about you a lot." After the funeral, most of Mark's former classmates went together in a luncheon. Mark's mother and father were there, obviously waiting to speak with his teacher. "We want to show you something," his father said. Taking a wallet out of his pocket, "They found this on Mark when he was killed. We thought you might recognize it." Opening the billfold, he carefully removed 2 worn pieces of notebook paper that had obviously been taped, folded and refolded many times. The teacher knew without looking that the papers were the ones which she had listed all the good things each of Mark's classmates had said about him. "Thank you so much for doing that," Mark's mother said. As you can see, Mark treasured it. All of Mark's former classmates started gathering around. Charlie smiled rather sheepishly and said, "I still have my list. It's in my top drawer of my desk at home." Chuck's wife said, "Chuck asked me to put it in our wedding album." "I have mine too," Marilyn said. "It's in my diary." Then Vicky, another classmate, reached into her pocketbook, took out her wallet, and showed her worn, frazzled list to the group. "I carry this with me at all times," Vicky said without battering an eye. She continued, "I think we all saved our lists." That's when the teacher finally sat down and cried. She cried for Mark and for all his friends who would never see him again. The density of people in society is so thick that we forget life will end one day, and we don't know when that day will be. So please tell the people you love and care for that they are special and important. Tell them before it's too late. So that's the story. It's really emotional, and if you're still here, but I thought it was a really good story, and it really touched me, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. I think I'm going to put it over some Counter-Strike gameplay, just for something visually stimulating in the background while you're listening to this story. But I do hope maybe if you just gathered one thing from it, that life is short, and people around you may not know it, maybe they do, but it doesn't hurt to let them know that you care. And I hope you enjoyed. This is Lex Coupe saying rate, comment, subscribe. Doochie doosh kadoosh.